Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My in Italy morning obeisances, or in Europe morning obeisances to you all over the world. I know it's afternoon some places, it's night in some places. And I was early, but I was replying to correspondence. And you know how you suddenly not forget exactly, but time flies by. So I'm a minute late, as it turns out, to join you today. Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Dandavat, Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. And we are with our family, Jesse. And we've got Advitya Devirasi there with Leela Moy Prabhu in Thailand. Happy to see you both. And Kumkum Devirasi in her armchair. You deserve a nice armchair. Sevarupa Devirasi near all of the lions eating giraffes and reminding us of the beauty of the world and also its only surface beauty in this world. Oh dear. Ananda Sundari also near the giraffes. Ananda Sundari Devi Rasi in South Africa. Rupanuga Prabhu, who's in a vehicle. No, he's not. He's actually indoors. In South Africa still? Yes? Yes. Okay, somewhere is the microphone button. But you're still in South Africa? Okay. Yes, okay. I thought maybe the microphone may come on. Brindavaneshwari Devi Rasi, all the way over in Brazil, where it is late, I know. Brindavaneshwari Devi Rasi, and your furry dog and family nearby. Hare Krishna. Yes, Rupanuga Prabhu, what, are you opening?
Yes, I'm in Johannesburg, heading to Cape Town today.
Okay.
So quite excited about this. I have a question. I almost feel like I am sinning. So I have a question of you, because it says in the text that we should not drink tea or coffee, but in this hotel room I'm dehydrated and there's no water, and I'm not sure if the water is safe to drink. So I'm drinking tea. Is that a major misdemeanor?
If you don't normally drink tea, then there's no need to start to drink tea, if you like.
Yes.
It's not a major misdemeanor. Long word, which I haven't used in a long time. However, you know that you can simply boil the water. You don't have to add. You don't actually have to add the tea bag to the water. You can just boil it. But try to boil it. Roll boil the water for a couple of minutes. So when it gets to the boil, just keep it boiling for a short while more. That will be even safer.
And another question is coffee. Who would have made that edict? Would have that come from Krishna, or not to drink coffee, because coffee wasn't in India at that time, So why aren't we permitted to drink coffee or tea is the question, I guess.
The point is that coffee and tea, they are mild stimulants. And so really we should be trying to live purely on the mercy of the Lord. So it's not listed like every single thing which we should not take. It doesn't say in the scriptures, don't take heroin. But, heroin is obviously, it's a clear thing. It's not in the same category. We're not doing, saying, equating it with coffee and tea. But I'm just saying there are so many things which are not written specifically, do not do this, do not do that. But it's the essence. And the essence of the instruction is we want to be in the mode of goodness as far as possible and in the mode of pure goodness as far as possible. So everything we do will be wholesome, everything that we eat will be wholesome, and we'll offer it first to the Lord. But coffee
Not
and tea is you can say minor, but it all depends
okay.
from what point of view. Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he was very strong about not drinking coffee and tea. And even with his wife, it was a difficulty. It caused friction because she was spending money that they didn't have on tea.
No?
And so everything must be taken in context, in some context way.
Mm. And another question, I had a glass of wine last night. Is that also not really permitted, or?
Well, really, you don't tell Mahananda that you had a glass of wine or Madhusudan.
Okay.
But Prabhu, just don't worry about anything, but try to do the right thing. But you see, if we say, oh, it doesn't really matter, in another way, we saw both with some comments of Guru Maharaj and with some comments of Gurudev that devotees would see this as an opportunity. Okay, it's all right to do this, it's all right to do that. And it's not that kind of certificate. But at the end of the day, nothing gentle like that is going to be so much of a disturbance. But we try not to do these things. And we have all sorts of stories. Here I've been joined by Jai Gauranga, but maybe move the desk a little bit. Jai Gauranga, come in the picture. Okay, here's your fellow country. Oh, he's not your fellow countryman. He's a Kiwi from New Zealand. Try to come in the picture. Try to come a little closer. So he's here in Vila Govinda. So, we have to take all these things in context. And, other things are there about wine, for instance, on the other side of the coin. Okay, it's very minor, especially if you're a French child, because in France, in my experience, every family, even on the freeway, on the autobahn, I forget what they call it in France, but in the restaurants there, everyone drinks wine with the meal. So it's not that we hope that they're all intoxicated, they're just having a wine. But on the other side of the answer is that it's there in the scripture that a wine pot cannot be purified. Once it's had wine in, it's doomed pot. It can't be purified. So we don't want to become a wine pot also. We want to be pure, not impure. But let us see. And by the way, there are the 4 regulative principles that Gurudev expected that everybody knows and everybody follows. And I think most of you know that Srila Gurudev said that the 4 regulative principles, they are like the alphabet. A, we learn A, B, C, D. Then when we get A, B, C, D, then we can make C-A-T. What does that spell? Chat. No, it doesn't. It spells cat. Okay. So cat, dog, all these things we can use when we have the alphabet, and then we can communicate. So Gurudev likened, it's an analogy to a certain degree. He likened the 4 regulative principles to being the alphabet. We need to know the alphabet before we can read and write. So our reading and writing is to follow the 4 regulative principles. However, Srila Gurudev did also say that those 4 places of intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, and meat eating, and the 5th one, which is hoarding of wealth. Hoarding of wealth, it means gathering more than what is directly necessary, etc. that these were given to the personality of Kali at the time of the beginning of Kali Yuga, that these activities will draw the negative influence of Kali upon somebody. However, this was when King Parikshit was ruling the world, and he was a strong king. And so he gave these places for Kali to reside. But Gurudev said that after King Parikshit and in due course of time, then now Kali has come to take over everywhere, because the rulers of the world are not strong in that context of strong as dharmic persons, strong with the qualities of life. So in due course of time, the Kali Yuga, this Kali of Kali Yuga, the degraded influence, this has entered everywhere. So it's not that somebody's going to be proud and say, oh yes, I follow all the regulative principles perfectly, so I can't be touched by Kali Yuga. No, unfortunately, we are in an ocean of fault. We're in an ocean of not only fault, but degradation in Kali Yuga. So we must be cautious about everything, and we must try to make favorable environment for cultivating and continuing the cultivation of our devotional life. Yes, Ashapurna with one hand, and the other hand, she got two hands. We have to develop a way, don't we, to hold the phone and give obeisances. I also feel awkward when I'm holding the phone. It feels odd to do that. But we get the heart, we get the sentiment. Oh, dear devotees, we've been chatting away and we haven't officially, formally begun with Vandeham and obeisances to each other as such. So let us begin. And then we will say, we'll give greetings to those we haven't personally mentioned so far, which is Ashapurna, who just joined us, and Nadia Sundari Devirasi, Vila Govinda. Acha, very good. And she's somewhere in Thailand. You've got something written there, translator. Acha. And Gangalila Didi is with us, Dana K, or Dana Ka, as I heard Mahayogi Prabhu mentioning a couple of days ago in his talk. By the way, we're very happy to have those talks of Mahayogi Prabhu again, that he's resumed those talks. And I heard the whole talk, of course, always substantial and from the heart and very practical. Radha Sundari Devirasi there in India, somewhere in India, probably Mayapur, and Krishna and Rani Devirasi. And I think this is Krishna and Rani perhaps in Turkey. If this is Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Krishna and Rani Didi. Okay, wonderful. So happy to have you with us. We do now have also Krishna and Rani Devirasi in Brazil. That's why I was just gently checking. And good to hear your voice, Krishna and Rani Didi, the voice of a sincere, sober, but I don't mean in the sense of wine and not wine, sincere, sober devotee for many years, very steady devotion coming from Krishna and Rani Devidasi, doing responsible seva of translation into Turkish and communicating into the Turkish speaking section. So to all of you, let us be together and give our obeisances together first of all. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Ah, yes, well, we can also say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, does anybody have a burning question? For instance, Nadia Sundari, you look like you have a question. And
No, I just no, I just thought only burning mind. No question.
burning mind. Well, how to get out of the forest fire that's burning everybody? What is your suggestion, Nadia Sundari, from what you have read and heard?
When we are singing on Mangala Arati, we have in the bhajan last line translation that even the lowest man can be can have hope and can be rescued. So I'm just stick to the word even lowest. It gives hope, and that's all.
Okay, and how will they be rescued? By
chanting holy name.
Okay, very good. Cheto Dapana Majanang Bhava. The forest fire of within this material world. And somewhere, I'm not sure if it's in a book, but Srila Guru Maharaj explained why the Lord uses this example of a forest fire. And you see, we are always trying to use examples, right, to show, to explain something. So the Lord himself, he's using examples, and we can consider the examples he uses are very good. After all, he is the Lord, and he's got everything at his fingertips, doesn't he? So anyway, the forest fire, because the forest fire in this world, it is unavoidable. When the forest fire, those in California and in Australia also, they have seen, they know what is a forest fire. It's quite horrific. And as the fire proceeds, everything gets burnt. All the little animals, the big animals, everything, they're all trying to flee. But when the forest fire is all around, then you're caught in the middle and you must be devoured by that forest fire. There is nowhere to go. But in this age, the holy name has come by the grace of the Lord. The holy name has come to relieve us from this forest fire, which is surrounding us and devouring everything with time. It is progressing in.
And
so, yes.
And what recently inspires me when I'm not in Villa Govinda ashram, or not as much near you. I learned from you when we are chanting Hari Haraya to stress with more sweetness and loudness the Hari, and I observe how it makes smile everybody, because not everybody are used to that, and it's like it gives some special mood to the heart. And also today will be Sunday Harinam Sankirtan in Chiang Mai, and also I remember the stages when I was first Harinam was in Italy for me, but then was some period that I wasn't able to push myself to do that, but then it changed into some kind of happiness when I'm doing that, and also to see that people are smiling and they are even having no idea what is going on for them, when hopefully they hear this sound and it will bring them in some lifetime or next the also rescue from this fire. And also, as you do with chanting to the animals, it's also like a good thing which I learned, and always try to do that, even though I'm not a sadhu and like lowest of the lowest, but also hopefully it gives hope. And maybe when we were also in the body of the animal, some sadhu chanted to us with a smile, and that's brought us to the Vaishnavas. That's my thoughts.
And we
Dhanyavad.
should be kind to everybody, not only the humans or our color of humans or our nationality of humans. We should be kind to everybody, which means also the trees and the animals and the birds and the butterfly. You were there, I think, when we had a butterfly in Govinda farm, and there is one big window, and the butterfly are doing the bhajans were reading perhaps, and this butterfly was trying to get out. He can't understand why the ether is suddenly solid, and he can't fly through this window, and he's going all over the place trying to get out. And then he came to the bottom of the window and was exhausted. And he was really exhausted. And then just when we finished doing our reading, then I just, at the end, we going to go, then I saw the butterfly still there. So I gently, because they have such delicate wings, and took him outside. And when he was outside, I had him in the cloth, and I opened the cloth. But he was so tired, he literally fell over. And I thought, oh no, the poor butterfly, we're too late. But then anyway, we did chant to the butterfly, and the butterfly got up and flew away, which I was very surprised about. And I was thinking, what's going through his mind? Now he's like flying. Instead of, he thought his number was up. He thought he was finished. So we want to do something good everywhere. And don't forget that trees, yes, we know that they can't move, but trees can give benedictions and trees can give curses. So don't think that the trees just, oh, it's wood. Like in London, in botanical gardens where they're giving love to the trees, right? They're looking after all kinds of rare trees, flowering trees. But I couldn't believe that they are putting labels and some information about the tree by hammering nails into the tree and then putting the information like that. No thought about the feeling of the tree. Even those who are, specifically taking care of them, thinking that they're wood. Oh yeah, okay, I know trees are made of wood, but they're living wood, like hammering a nail into our arm. You can hammer a nail into your arm when you're not in your body. But if you do it when you're in your body, you will notice. And so will the tree. But the point is that the trees have consciousness. And so everything is a human, but in another body temporarily. And we think we are, everything is a person, and we think we're a person, but we identify with this as our personage. And at least we can practice by preaching to the trees and the butterflies and the animals. At least we can practice. Whether they hear us or not, we do our best. And another thing is that it's not about knowledge as such. We see everywhere what is effective. And again, we are not sadhus of this nature. We are aspiring sadhus. But what is effective is the goodwill. But the Vaishnava side goodwill, not just the general goodwill, I don't want suffering in the world. Wouldn't it be nice if all the poor people had lots of money? And, things like this. But the goodwill of, you should come back home. What are you doing in this world? Come back home to home. as Guru Maharaj said, that one word, home, should be sufficient for us. So at least we can extend some goodwill to everything that we come across. Hare Krishna. And Nityananda Prabhu, so generous that he's extending goodwill to the drunk, the powerful drunk chief of police. You know, and in India, you've got to be careful about the chief of police. They have a lot of power. You don't think that everything's got to go to a trial and high-priced lawyers and everything. What they say goes. And it was like that in the time of Mahaprabhu too. You see, when Mahaprabhu, well, many incidents, but when he was coming back from Vrindavan, then the king's men, then they were ready just to kill the devotees, thinking that they were dacoits. They can give their decision, and they can give the result of their decision, chopping off, killing them by their own wish. What to speak of the actual king or the ruler of someone? So the head of the police, like this chief of police, I don't know exactly their official post at that time, but Jagai and Madai in Navadip, they were very powerful persons, but they were drunkards, and the people would hide when they would see them coming. So sinful. But Nityananda, he wants to extend Mahaprabhu's grace to them. And even they attack him, and he wants to extend Mahaprabhu's grace. So we must be realistic. We are not Mahaprabhu, we're not Nityananda. But the example is given by the Lord himself, coming as a devotee. Mahaprabhu came as a devotee. Krishna came as Mahaprabhu, as a devotee, in the mood of a devotee. Not pretending, not acting, but he wanted to taste what it is to be a devotee. And with that taste, then, the generosity to every living entity. And that is our good fortune, because we are lower than the worm in stool, which is, the description, extreme description of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his mood. But as Srila Guru Maharaj also points out, or about the trees are better than us, because the tree is simply standing there, and he is basically reaping the result of his previous karma. And for that reason, he's got a tree body, but he can't do anything wrong. He can't get a branch and whack somebody with his branch. He's standing there and he's not generating bad things. In fact, another place, Guru Maharaj says that the tree's birth is for the benefit of others. So the tree is reaping the result of his previous karma, but he's not earning anything bad. He's just standing there. But we are reaping the result of our previous karma, and because of our misuse of our free will, we are generating more result to come. So this way, Srila Guru Maharaj teaching us through all of nature how we must understand that really our position is that lower than a tree, more tolerant than a tree. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, about the tree, I have one more question. You reminded me, and also Bhakti Lalita yesterday was giving a Zoom to us, and she was mentioning again about the Srila Gurudev ability to see the what we cannot see, like also sometimes it's ghosts, sometimes it's saintly people, like coming not in the physical form. And why I was reminded about that, about the tree, about the when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, and he was given a neem tree like a protection. Can you tell something more? Maybe you heard from Srila Guru Maharaj or Srila Gurudev about neem tree. It just make me be interested about this tree. We can find it only in India, and how? Just something more, please.
You can find it right outside Chintamani Dham also in Govinda
Whoa!
Farm. Two.
Okay.
Two trees, one at the front, one at the back. And
The neem tree, you know?
and in Australia also, there is a neem tree. But all of these, they are not native, perhaps. Oh, I think neem may be in Thailand, in other places. And we were driving a few days ago, or that day that we all met up at those waterfalls. There we came past we drove past Dev Daru also. Deva Daru. Deva, gods, Daru, tree. And so they're known as the Dev Daru trees. And so, yes, there are auspicious trees, specifically auspicious trees. And of course, the most auspicious, we've got Tulasi Devi, who we worship. We not only auspicious, but we worship her. She can give bhakti. So here's an example of looking like a tree, looking like a bush, but she can give devotion if we will please her. So the neem tree, yes, Mahaprabhu, not yet Mahaprabhu, but Gaura Sundar, the beautiful golden boy, Gaura Sundar, then he was born under a neem tree, and that neem tree or its descendants is right there at the Yoga Pit in Mayapur, in Navadip. And he was born under a neem tree. And yes, it was Sita, Advaita Acharya's wife, who gave this name Nimai to the beautiful young boy. So Gaura Sundar, the beautiful golden boy, and Nimai Sundar, the beautiful boy with the name of Nimai, which is associated with the tree. And the leaves of that tree, they are bitter. And when Leela Moy Prabhu told me, oh, there is a neem tree here, me being me, I can't say I don't want to say I was suspicious. I wanted to check it really was a neem tree and not, as they say, a knockoff neem tree, not a real Apple iPhone, but as some of our devotees find out, then there are also imitation Apple iPhones. So the neems, I wanted to just check. And so I took a leaf and I took the leaf and I chewed the leaf and it was neem, because we do know the taste of neem. And it is told that ghosts do not like to live in neem trees, that they have some the taste is bitter is one thing, but the ghosts don't like to live there. So to protect Nimai Sunda from ghosts, to help that, then invoking the name of the tree, the neem tree, calling him Nimai Sunda. So the neem tree is regarded as special, and if Tulasi beads are not available, Tulasi japa beads, if someone's to receive initiation or going to chant on the beads, then generally the beads are made from Tulasi, japamala. But if tulsi is not available, then neem can be used. The neem beads, the neem wood to make the beads. And neem is generally more available because it comes from a big tree. And the twigs of the neem tree are used all over India for the toothbrush. Chew the end, make it a bit soft and chewed, and then you use that as a toothbrush, and it is antiseptic. It's natural antiseptic. And if you get a wound in India, then they take a neem leaf and just squash it in the hand with the thumb, and then put that on the wound, and it's antiseptic. And this is known maybe ever since the creation by Lord Brahma. I'm sure the wise know many of these tricks. And who was showing me? Just now, somebody was showing me some leaves which are also antiseptic. If you know what is antiseptic and what is not.
Samraj, Mahaprabhu is made out of neem as well.
Hare Krishna. So if we have a deity, deities come in brass, wood, and other forms, stone also, marble. But neem is used there. Yes, correct. And neem. Oh, and the other tree I mentioned was Devdaru. At the festival times in India, then we decorate traditionally with mango leaves, a string, and the traditional string is coconut string, which is very rough on your fingers when you put the leaves into the string. We know, but nowadays, plastic is everywhere. They use plastic string now. Oh dear. But anyway, traditional is coconut string made from the coconut, not the white part, but the other part, the husk. And they put mango leaves. So the string is there, and then the mango leaf, mango leaf, mango leaf, mango leaf, like this. But if there are not sufficient mango leaves, and you may think, oh, it's India, so many mangoes. But Gurudev, again, caring about the trees, when it is Gaura Purnima time, which is March, April time in the beginning of the year, when is Gaura Purnima time? The trees, they are preparing to give blossom and then fruit. And Gurudev didn't want, directly didn't want, that the devotees will take like all the leaves off the tree, or most of the leaves, because the tree is giving leaves to be healthy. And so to take some leaves from the mango trees, and definitely the end of the twigs, the end of the branches where the blossom will come and the mangoes will come, that area to let it grow, not to pick those new leaves. So we need guidance for everything in this world, but to pick leaves from the tree, we need guidance. And one day, some devotees, you have to climb the tree to get the leaves, right? We know this. And mango trees usually are quite friendly to let you climb them because they've got branches going different ways. But when you're up the tree, rather than pick the leaf by leaf, then we had devotees who were breaking off the end, so you can break off a part. So you've got lots of leaves, and then they put that in the bag that they're carrying up there. And Gurudev was definitely unhappy about that. So again, knowing the consciousness, that the trees have consciousness, they have life. But normally we use mango leaves. But when there are not sufficient mango leaves, to take from the tree in a normal way without exploiting the tree. Then we use one mango leaf, then one Devdaru leaf. One mango, one Devdaru. Generally not all Devdaru, but Devdaru is also an auspicious tree, and it has lots of leaves, and it doesn't give fruit, and it really has lots of leaves. And so we'd climb the Devdaru tree, which is a little less friendly to climb, but luckily you can get a lot of leaves from a low level. And I saw in Thailand that Devdaru tree also. Devdaru, Deva Daru, God's tree. And they say it's come from heaven, come from the godly planets. Somebody brought the seeds in somehow. They got through the customs. Hare Krishna. And seeing as we're talking about trees and about decorating, then also we had some of South Indian origin devotees in the mat. And so they say, oh yes, everyone coming to help to decorate the temples and the Nat Mandir and everything at the festival times. And the devotees from South India, they collected the palm leaves. And in South India, you see it every festival. They've got these, the palm leaves, banana trees, cut banana trees, and they put them in a pot with the swastika on. And the swastika actually is a sign of eternity, both ways, whether it goes left way round or right way round. It's a sign of eternity. And I asked Gurudev about the swastika, does it matter which way round it goes? Because we had some banners, some had it one way and some the other way. And Gurudev said, no, it is a sign of eternity. So anyhow, so the banana trees are used, they're also auspicious, but the South Indian devotees, they were using looking very nice, the fresh green palm leaves, which are all, they've got lots and lots of, it's almost like a feather, but obviously not a feather. But like that, it's got a stem and then it's got lots of green, like long, short, strong leaves coming out. I don't know quite how you describe it, but it looks auspicious. And we see in South Indian temples, they use that, the banana tree and those young palm leaves. When Gurudev saw that they were using the young palm trees, he stopped them. And he said, no, you can't use this. And the devotees did explain, and I'm right there when this is happening, and the devotees did say, oh, Gurudev, this is how we do it in South India. And Gurudev said, maybe you do in South India, but not here. Because these are the new leaves of the palm tree. And the palm tree is making those leaves to be healthy, to grow, and to give the palm fruit. And again, every tree is doing something, contributing. So Gurudev again, very caringly saying, not to take these new leaves, whatever tradition may have come, who knows where traditions come from also. But in the mat, then not to use those young leaves. Thinking again of the trees. And seeing as we're talking about trees, in the mat, every tree is a useful tree. And every tree Gurudev has some relationship to. And some of you know that in Bengal, there can be devotees who sort of join the temple as a career. And they kind of thinking that they're going to get promoted and this, that, and the other, and they'll get so much later on. And when Srila Gurudev joined, many of you know that Srila Guru Maharaj, so when Srila Govinda Maharaj joined, then Srila Sridhar Maharaj, so she recognized that Govinda Maharaj was exceptional. And from very early on, Srila Guru Maharaj told, and we've heard this from Gurudev, Guru Maharaj told, if this boy will listen to me and follow me, then considering that I will prepare him to be the next Acharya, to be my successor. And the other brahmacharis, the other devotees in the temple, became very envious. And they gave Gurudev a hard time. And Srila Gurudev, in due course of time, he's tolerating so much. And Gurudev, himself describing, some of the things that he had to go through. And he said, and they would be so mean, and I would just want to go from the temple. Then I'm thinking, I'm going to leave from the temple. Why am I going to be facing this all the time? And he said, but I would ask the trees permission to leave the temple, and they wouldn't give me permission. The trees would not give me permission. So, how sweet. And Gurudev is not cutting down any tree in Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And following that, he transplanted trees, big trees also, but didn't cut them down. And when the new, which is now the Prasadam Hall, was being constructed, which is when you look at Srila Gurudev's house, Acharya Bhavan, go to the right, then very near you'll see there's a 2-story building which is for prasadam distribution. But that building, it has at least 2 trees growing through it from the ground through the middle of the building and out through the roof. Means the building is built around the tree and not cut down. And one tree there was transplanted with the tractors and everything else, big tree, because it was in an awkward position. So one tree there was transplanted. And you also know that on the day of Srila Guru Maharaj's disappearance, that day, I am witness to it, it is sure, that day, a big, healthiest of 3 mango trees that were near each other, the healthiest of them all died when Srila Guru Maharaj passed away. Then that tree gave shade to Guru Maharaj as he was bathed after, his holy body was bathed in preparation for being put in the samadhi. And that tree, when died, then Srila Gurudev was thinking, why is the tree died? And then different ways he saw it, but one was, he said that the trees know I will not cut them down. But this tree, and he said, I didn't know it at the time, but when we came to manifest the samadhi of Srila Guru Maharaj, then it came to be that exactly where that tree is where a pillar needed to be for the samadhi mandir. And the tree knew I will not cut it down. So he gave up his life so that the samadhi mandir can be built, can be manifested. So, there are lots of tree kind of stories. And in Navadip too, then just near Ramadam, some of you know, is the ladies' house where the ladies, Gurudev built it for the ladies so that they'll have some area where they don't have to always be wearing saris, which they do have to wear when they're around the temple. 15 yards of cloth, I know, we've heard it from all the ladies, but the Ramadan was so they could have some privacy, American privacy. They'd have some privacy. And just near Ramadan, there are 2 big trees just near there. And there was one person, they were cleaning the leaves. Now is autumn here, or now is winter here in Europe, and lots of trees, lots of leaves have to be cleared. But they were cleaning the area, brought the leaves into a pile and burning them under the tree. And the tree is quite a distance away. And Gurudev said seriously, when we were walking together and in the afternoon, and he's always seeing around the temple, taking care. And when he saw that, he said, that tree will curse that person who's burning the things under the tree. And Gurudev seriously said, the tree will curse them for doing this. So, we need to be conscious about all life, and trees are not wood until that part of their service life comes to be. An animal is not meat as long as it's in the body. We're only meat, but when we are in our body, well, perhaps we feel pain if we are put to difficulty. Hare Krishna. Now, about trees. I can think of other things, but let's not. Oh, it's already 3:50 in the morning. We've already been talking for 50 minutes. Hare Krishna. Govinda. But there is a question that I have to me. Will I tell you? I don't know. I should do research first. I was quite surprised. I'm pretty sure it's Srimad Bhagavatam. And if it wasn't Bhagavatam, it was another of our books. It was somewhere where I did read about, there was some place which was considered inauspicious, in the pastimes of Mahabharata and the Ramayana. There are, auspicious places and inauspicious places. And anyway, part of the description about this place which was inauspicious was, and it was filled with useless trees, which made me think, like, poor trees to be called useless. And I wonder which section of the trees these are. And it's not just, we can't just put in the category of trees that don't give fruits, because the Devdaru tree doesn't give fruit, but is regarded as auspicious. The neem tree doesn't give fruit. It doesn't give, here's a neem. It must give seeds, I suppose, but it doesn't give fruit, but it's auspicious. So I suppose, like everything, we have, pious people, impious people. We have, holy places. We have unholy places. And we have useless trees. But when I read that, it jumped out at me, which is why I do remember it. It jumped out at me, a description of a inauspicious place is that it's filled with useless trees. Hare Krishna. And we have a tree in Thailand which has character. And some devotees know about this tree too. But maybe that's a story for another day, because it's 55 minutes on. And this week I usually ask for some contribution, but somehow or another this week we've utilized our time, and we do have Kumkum with us from the Kumkum Devidasi from the beginning. We have Sri Lekha who's joined us very happily. And we have Krishna and Rani Devidasi who's been with us from the beginning. And all of you are senior devotees. Why? Because you all know that Krishna consciousness is the goal of life. And so many devotees of the Lord, but out of them, very few really understand Krishna consciousness. So rare. And Muktinath Prabhu joined us. And a tip from Muktinath Prabhu. And we were discussing this here, actually the day before yesterday, about how to people reach. How to people reach? Yes, Chintamani is with us, with her bright aura, energetic aura in her picture. So how to people reach? And Muktinath Prabhu used an app called meetup.com, or not an app, maybe it's website, meetup.com. Correct?
It's up main time, like for application for smartphone.
And I had the little thing you printed, it's nearby, but I don't have it so handy. And through this, so Muktinath Prabhu, just explain what that does and how you reached out to the people successfully with that app.
Dandavad Maharaj, Dandavad to everyone. So yes, with like 1 week, it was 1 week ago. Yes, it was 1 week ago. Yeah. So it was program in a like public program, and helping, and we use the application because we don't.
Muktinath Prabhu, sorry to interrupt. Can you turn off your video because your audio is breaking up? So I think if you turn off your camera, then maybe we'll get a clear audio. Hare Krishna. Uh-oh. Okay, I think we lost not only the
Yes. I'm here. Yeah, some problem with Wi-Fi. Sorry, please excuse me.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so we don't know a lot of people here. So we used a Meetup application. It was Pawan Krishna's idea. So we just registered there. It's application for some meeting in a town, like with some topic. I don't know what to say, like some announcement, and anyone who joined this application, he could choose which one he will join, and just put like press the button like, okay, I will be there, and even with some profile, and you could see who is there, who will come. So somehow we will have, we has 4 guests, yes, from that application. In Bangkok, we seen them first time, nice guys, and happily Maharaj came with devotees, and it was incredible actually program, and everyone so happy. So it's a useful application, Meetup. Please, if you need to some new, I don't know, some new helpers. I mean, helpers like application, instrument for meeting, for festivals, is good to try at least. So we continue now. We trying this application. So we'll see.
And also what I appreciated was that how they advertised that, oh, we'll be in the park at this time, this place. They made it direct advertising to like come. They had a picture of a devotee. People know who they're going to come to see, that they're going to come to see a monk who's going to tell them about Krishna consciousness. And I think it was something like the joyful journey to fulfillment, but it wasn't like it
was
wasn't
the happiest way to inner fulfillment. Yeah, we take name of one of the book, took name of one of the book, Guru Maharaj, and yes,
but it was
Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a direct advert. It wasn't saying we're
Yes.
going to be coming to the park, doing yoga, standing on our heads, and little writing. And we might talk about 2 sentences about Krishna. It was a direct advert. And so the people who came, they were already ready to hear. And so we didn't talk anything about, yoga and standing on your head and all the other things, which I'm sure are very good for you. But I can't touch my toes after 40 years of yoga, bhakti yoga. I still cannot touch my toes. Oh dear. So it was a direct advertising, and we got the people who came, they were like directly interested. I mean, actually, genuinely, they've come to meet a monk who's going to talk about inner fulfillment.
Right.
So anyway, it's just, I saw your name there, and a good tip for others. And here, they're also going to follow this example and see what result comes, because they are reaching out to the public.
Yeah.
And yesterday, by the way, this is my first weekend back in Villa Govinda after being for some time, a few weeks in Thailand. And here, very energetic, active programs. And yesterday, Saturday, today, Sunday. And so they're very particularly active at the weekend for people reaching. And they've also adjusted slightly the program on Saturdays and Sundays, so that we have what would normally be our evening program at 4:45 in the afternoon, so that the public who are coming to the kiosk and coming to walk in the national park, then they have the opportunity to join the program without being late, and then they got to get back to their homes and, like this. So adjusting the program. So the arati is the same time, but the Vandeham, the kirtan, the reading, the questions and answers comes before the arati instead of after. And I thought that was also a practical time, place, and circumstance adjustment. Hare Krishna. Rukmini Devi Dasi with us also. Priyanana Devi Dasi is with us. A flower from a tree which gives flowers most of the year. And if I missed anybody out, please excuse me. But we're not on Facebook. Oh, we are on Facebook. We are on Facebook too. And so to the devotees on Facebook, I don't actually see you, but we know you're there. And to all the devotees who are seeing the recorded version, then we know you're there too, and definitely appreciate the company of you all. And something just popped up in the chat. Oh, Rukmini has put, Margarita Island in Venezuela is full of neem trees. Jai, if we're short of leaves for the next festival, we'll pop over to Margarita. Anyway, Muktinath, meeting up. Okay, Muktinath was put meet up, little information about them. And Rukmini sending her dandavas. Hare Krishna. I can hear your voice by seeing your name. I can immediately hear Rukmini's voice. Jai. And Kumkum, dearest Martian devotees, I'm pre-asking for forgiveness, neglecting you next Wednesday because of family, Mandakini and husband visiting. And it's Christmas time is coming. So do good, everyone. Do good for your families. For your families, your friends, it's a natural time of selflessness, natural time of sharing goodwill and affection. So let the devotees who are rich with goodwill and affection, let the devotees spread Vaishnava good wishes around, and may the families all come to appreciate what their children, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, whatever relationship we have in the families. Let the families come to understand and appreciate what the devotees are doing. Govinda. All right, dear ones, all over the world, from Thailand to There's no one in Australia. Our Australians are here and in South Africa. I was going to say from Australia. But we have our Australians, but they're not in Australia. They've abandoned their mother country. Oh, he's from New Zealand. Jai Gauranga Prabhu is from New Zealand. Okay. It's different from Australia. Every Australian knows that, isn't it?
Yes, Maharaj.
And the Australians can tell the difference in accent between them as well, which I cannot tell Kiwi accent from an Australian accent. Anyway, all the way from Australia represented, all the way from the east, Thailand, through, and India, and Turkey, and through to the far side of the world, Brazil, California, remote corner of the world, and to various places in between. Then appreciation to you all. And what can we do except try to remember the wonderful glories of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga and keep ourselves on the journey home. It is a wonderful journey, some troubles, but travel means trouble. Direct quote from Srila Gurudev. And so we are traveling home. So little trouble sometimes, but we'll cross the trouble and reach home soon by the grace of above. And as I said, it's all by heart, ultimately, not by knowledge. And I can promise that from above, there are very big hearts. And we just have to make ourselves a little open to their grace and kindness.
Jai Shri Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
I said once per year. Okay, but all the time. Jai, wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai, wonderful Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai, wonderful Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai, our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And Jai, Sri Nitai Chaitanya Dev ki Jai. Sri Nimai Sundar ki Jai. And Nimai Pandit simply is when Mahaprabhu was a little older, he was Pandit, very learned. As a teenager, he was learned. He was a professor at 16 years old. So Pandit, this is Pandit. And Nimai Pandit. So Nimai has various names. And so Nimai Pandit ki Jai. And Sri Yoga Pit ki Jai. And Jai Shri Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi ki Jai. Jai Shri. Okay, we can do many Jais in Navadip, can't we? Shri Navadip Dham Parikrama ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So wishing you all a super week in Seva. Happily. Amra Ashchi. Govinda Govinda. I don't want to go. Okay, I better go. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees. See you next time. Good Seva week for us. Hare Krishna.